Good morning, OAA. The purpose of this video is to describe in some detail the upcoming manpower reductions in OAA. I thought that doing this via a video would be a more personal way to cover this difficult topic. But before I get into that, I would like to take the opportunity to once again tell you that OAA is doing just great. We continue to provide tremendous support to our customers across a rather huge spectrum of missions. Thank you again for all you are doing. Okay, back to the difficult topic of manpower reductions. As we've previously discussed, last spring, senior leaders at both the Department of the Army and the Department of the Defense gave guidance to reduce the size of headquarters across the entire force, including at the Headquarters Department of the Army. The Army's reduction goal for HQDA is 25%, which of course is a huge number. HQDA worked for about 6 months to determine where to take these reductions, and in the end, OAA ended up losing 145 positions out of about 1,500, or about 10%. While I won't minimize the challenge and the difficulty associated with the loss of 145 positions, 10% is obviously a whole lot better than 25%. We were able to justify a much smaller than 25% reduction because we successfully demonstrated that much of what we do either isn't really headquarters work, or we do it on behalf of the entire military, not just the Army. While our overall reduction is 10%, there were parts of OAA that got hit much harder because they do in fact execute a headquarters function. These are the OAA Front Office, the Resources and Programs Agency, and the Resource Operations Center, which all ended up with at least a 25% reduction. The 25% reduction is spread out over a 5-year period, but even so, that's such a large percentage that we've decided to reorganize those activities to most effectively find the reductions while minimizing the impact to OAA operations. Before I get into the specifics of the reductions, it is worth repeating that when we talk about these reductions, they are reductions in positions, in spaces, not faces, if you will. In the near term, we are in fact just discussing TDA positions. The impact on our workforce will initially be some selected reassignments. In the longer term, of course, it means less new hiring in OAA. Additionally, in OAA and across the headquarters, we anticipated these reductions and kept a number of positions vacant, specifically so that we'd be able to lose them without the need for a reduction in force. Now back to OAA. As you know, the biggest change is that we've disbanded the ROC. We did not take this decision lightly, but we felt that with the reductions, we could no longer afford a separate organization in OAA to manage OAA unique requirements like resource management and many others. Using resource management as an example, since in OAA we perform resource management for all of HQDA via RSW, we can gain efficiencies by combining the ROC resource management shop with RSW. Managing budget execution in RSW and in the ROC, even though they have a different focus, is somewhat redundant. We can save positions, including some management positions, by moving responsibility for OAA's activities from the ROC to other parts of OAA. Another organization that will be disbanded is the Special Programs Office, or SPO. Its functions include unique programs such as Army Committee Management, Organizational Representation Funds Management, fundraising for HQDA, the Mass Transit Benefit Program, the Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA Office, and others. These are tasks that can be done in other existing OAA organizations, thereby saving the management and other positions of the SPO. Since all of the functions performed by the ROC and the SPO cannot be farmed out to existing OAA offices, there will be a small group called the Analysis and Integration Cell dedicated to those particular actions that are better performed closer to the OAA headquarters level. In total, about 20 distinct work functions are going to move from the ROC and the SPO to somewhere else in OAA, as depicted on this table. In terms of timing, we're going to implement these changes basically right away. They will be effective on 5 October 2014. In some instances, the people will move with the function to the new organization. In others, the gaining organization will have to perform the duty with its existing personnel. The details have been briefed already to those who are directly affected. This level of change will not be easy, and the decisions behind it were not taken lightly. As always, we are committed to an open and transparent process and to avoiding a reduction in force, which, as I've said before, is in no one's best interest. I appreciate what you do each and every day to support OAA. Thank you.